Hi, hey, and hello, and welcome to this episode of the Educated Fan. My name is Brandon. I am joined here by your co-host, my best friend, Andrew Moore. Wow, Colts lose.
Man, I kind of had a feeling this might happen. Like I said on Thursday, I thought the game was going to be close, and I really thought the injuries to Costanzo and Leonard were going to have a big impact, and they did. It was a contributing factor, but all around, I mean, abysmal quarterback play. Defense did not play to where they can.
They didn't
Um,
play two halves like they have the last few weeks.
they played, yeah, I'll give you that. And coaching decisions and play calling just weren't up to par either. Hey, good news is if you listen to me on Thursday, I said bet the house on Chase Elliott. He won today. You would have won some money, but in the Colts world, not a great day. Not a great day.
Um, no, not a great day. And there are some positives that we could take away from this game. Just kidding. No, there's not.
There are a couple. We'll get to it.
Nothing. Okay, let me say nothing encouraging. Nothing real nothing makes you go, boy, at least I'm glad about this. I don't feel like awesome about anything.
Uh,
I'm
we'll
pissed
get
off.
to it. I've got a couple of them. I know you're upset, but let's start out with the elephant in the room, what everyone's talking about. Philip Rivers, just a terrible day. Well, first of all, let's say the score. Colts lost to the Browns 32-23, but I think everyone's talking about Rivers. He went 21 of 33 for 243 yards, two interceptions, and intentional grounding for a safety. One of his interceptions was a pick six. Um, Man, it just those are the mistakes that we need him to avoid in order to win games. And so far, when the games have been close and when we've had to rely on his arm to bring us back, both today and in Jacksonville, he hasn't done it. And I don't know if it was Frank Reich, I don't know if it was Philip Rivers last week, but one of them said, like, I know this offense can go and get 35 points. When we need to score,
Pretty
I know
sure
we
that
can
was
do it.
Rivers.
Well, I mean, that's happened twice now where the offensives needed to go out and score and you still haven't done it. So when's it going to start happening? That's the question. Uh, Now the first interception, no business making that throw. He stared Ty down the entire time, and he has. You even mentioned it in previously, just to me, not on the show. Phil's been staring down his receivers a lot, and I think more than ever today showed that.
Yeah.
And he stared down Ty. Obviously, that goes for a pick six. The safety, he was getting pressured, but at the same time, the running back is coming open. You need to know where your receivers are going to be. If you do need to throw it away like that, at least get it towards a wide receiver or a running back. And then on the second one, I mean, he was pressured again, which was a theme of the day on Philip Rivers. So he was getting pressured all day, not what he's normally used to in a Colts uniform. But at the same time, you can't throw it into triple coverage to Mo Alley Cox and expect good things to happen. So, so far, Philip Rivers has been the one that's been holding this team back in both losses. I would say he hasn't been the main reason. He has, well, I should say he hasn't been the only reason that the Colts have lost their two games this year, but he's played a big contributing factor into both losses.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And he wasn't the only reason today, but I mean, he's number one. Um, and the offense. I mean, even in the last week when we won, and I think the Jets was the week before that. Our defense won those games. I mean, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we scored a couple touchdowns, I think, against the Jets on offense, but I mean, we didn't look special even against the Jets on offense.
Yeah.
So the offense is definitely a problem. And I think uh, probably reason number two today is Frank Reich. I mean, there are a lot of bad decisions made today.
Yeah. Um, I think Phil definitely was probably number one of the reason the Colts lost today. Now, granted, the Colts defense did not have a good first half. The second half, they definitely tightened it up. Philip Rivers gave the Browns 9 points today. 9 of their 12 points that they scored in the second half were because of Philip Rivers, the pick six and the safety. You take those away right there, and it's a completely different ball game for the Colts. So we've been hearing from Frank Reich and everyone that the offense, we don't need to worry about it. The offense is the weak link of this team. And yeah, the defense gave up some points, but then again, the Colts defense, it's good. It's not the 85 Bears. If you expect them to limit every team to 10 points a game for the rest of the year, you're kidding yourself. I mean, you just are. So we need that offense to play complementary football, that when the defense isn't playing its best, the Colts still have a chance to win because the offense is going out there and putting their best foot forward. And today they simply didn't. And you're exactly right with Frank Reich as well. To blow both the challenges in the first half. The first one, okay, I'm fine with that.
First one was close, sure.
That could have been a game-changing play real early. The Colts get the ball. I didn't hear a whistle. Maybe the whistle did come out. Kareem Hunt definitely wasn't down, and Grover Stewart made a heads-up play. Sure, go for it. That second one to OBJ, that one seemed more of they're going to snap the ball real quick. I got to get the flag out there just in case. It didn't seem like he was sure. You need to hold on to that because that cost the Colts a timeout. Just not a good decision. On the play to Rivers, that Rivers got the safety.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Colts had been having some success running the ball. When you're backed up that far, why are you doing a 5-step drop or a 3-step drop with Rivers with such a long developing play when the Browns have been able to get pressure all day, especially over on the left side where Raven Clark was playing? Call a run. Let's get some yardage. Let's not back our team up so far. And there were just some other things that Frank Reich did that I didn't quite agree with.
Well, and he, real quick, while we're still on the safety, I've already seen some answers coming out of the press conference post game, and I mean he's trying to take the blame for that safety, but at the end of the day, Philip Rivers knows the rules of football as well.
Yeah, it's on both of them.
Yeah, and not to mention Naheem Hines, for some god awful reason, taking a fair catch at the 5-yard line.
Right. That's like I said, that's not just one person that costs us the game. There's multiple parties involved. No game is decided by one play. Rivers should have known better. Reich should have called a better play there. So it's all wound together. But if I'm being honest, I'm a little bit annoyed for one, and I'm a little bit, what's the right word? A little bit concerned with Frank Reich in how he's seeing Philip Rivers. Now, this could just be because he's talking to the media. He doesn't want to make these things public.
Doesn't want to throw his buddy under the bus.
Right. He's saying that Rivers is the least of his concerns right now, but he keeps saying that the offense will get it going. This is starting to become a pretty big concern for the Colts. The defense, I wouldn't say, is anything to worry about. Special teams isn't anything to worry about. Blankenship was perfect again today. Sanchez punted it once, and it was a bomb, a beautiful punt again from our Pro Bowl punter. Isaiah Rodgers had a kickoff return 100 for a touchdown. Congrats to that rookie. That guy has been outstanding in the kick return game.
Real quick on him before we move on. The return before that, it looked like he was probably going to get tackled around, can't remember, it was like the 15 or maybe the 20. And all of a sudden, he just found a little hole and just poked out like another 7 yards. And I was like, damn, look at the vision on this guy. And then the very next one, I'm like, he's going to go.
That speed, that 4.28 speed is blazing. So really a good day for all rookies.
Yeah.
The Colts rookies had all the points today with Jonathan Taylor's touchdown, Blankenship's field goals, and Isaiah Rodgers' return. So good day for the rookies at least. But back on Frank Reich, it's like I said, he probably knows this. He's probably just not coming out and saying it. He's going to keep it in house, not going to say it to the media. But as of right now, I mean, Philip Rivers doesn't look sharp when the Colts need him to. Third down efficiency, we were 4 of 11 again. Red zone
Another bad
efficiency, we
week.
only had 1 touchdown after multiple
Another bad
attempts.
week.
That's on coaching as well. Like that needs to get better and that needs to be executed better. And that's on coaching. That's something that the offense and Frank Reich, who has control over, he needs to make that a priority. And if not, then things kind of need to change. And you can't just keep kidding yourself and saying, oh, it'll get better with time. It'll get better with time. The results aren't backing that up. The Colts aren't making any progress on third down or in the red zone. And we're 5 weeks into the season now. That stuff needs to get going.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I mean, we talk constantly about balance every week too, and how we need to feed the ball to our running backs more. And I mean, we had 18 rushing attempts compared to 33 passing attempts, and one of those is Philip Rivers running for his life.
Yeah.
I mean, with Jonathan Taylor's averaging almost 5 yards a carry this game. If we're feeding him the ball more early, you know, we're sucking. Then at least in the first half of the game, when our defense is not playing up to par, and their offense was clicking, you know, at least keep the ball out of their hands for a while. I mean, it was just why are we throwing the ball so much in the first place? Now I know towards the end of the game, that number, that once you start to get behind, that number's going to take a bigger shift and the gap's going to grow. But I mean, even in the second half, Jonathan Taylor seemed to be taking over a little bit, and I just feel like he's being underused in this offense right now.
We've said it before. The more Jonathan Taylor gets going, the more carries he gets. It seems like that's when he starts getting going. He starts ripping off those runs. He had a couple,
kind of like Derrick Henry. Obviously, very different runners, but Derrick Henry's one of those guys you got to get him the ball, got him feed him the ball, and he's a second half performer.
Right, and I think maybe a lot of that is because the Colts were down by so much. You need to throw the ball, not completely abandon the run, but you need to throw it more. And I think that's where that may have came into play. But yeah, I think we do need to run the ball more. I mean, obviously you're not going to be able to completely lean on your running game every game. So that I chalk that up more to just the game situation today than anything else. But I do think that Jonathan Taylor needs to be a big, more prevalent in the game plan, or else we need to start getting quicker throws from Philip Rivers, because a lot of the shot plays are taking a long time to develop, and it doesn't seem like it's those quick rhythm throws that I was expecting to see from this offense, like what we saw in 2018 from Andrew Luck. I'm not seeing those as much, and I think that's what needs to happen. We need to get Jack Doyle more involved. Jack Doyle has been invisible this entire season, pretty much. T.Y. Hilton got more involved today, and when you get T.Y. Hilton involved, they were starting to move the chains. I know it's a hard concept, but maybe they should look into that a little bit more. Marcus Johnson came up with some huge third down receptions. I thought he played pretty well today, so I would hope that he gets more run. So just things like that, getting it into your playmakers' hands and just getting into a rhythm, I think, not always looking for these big shots, allowing Philip Rivers to make quick, short throws, and then open it up for the big passes instead of holding onto the ball for forever. And it turns into the pressures that we saw today, especially when you're down one of the best left tackles in the game in Anthony Costanzo. So offense has a lot of cleanup. I think that pretty much kind of summarizes the day. It's offense has a lot of areas to clean up, and Philip Rivers is the one that needs to start with. Absolutely.
I agree. And we can move on to the defense here in a sec, but I do want to say Kirk Cousins has got no chance tonight. Primetime, Seahawks are wearing their lime greens, just ran out on the field. Kirk Cousins is in trouble tonight. But anyway, yeah, the defense, I mean, you've called it subpar performance tonight, but I mean, 124 rushing yards given up. That's most of our season, I believe, so far. But could have been worse, especially against a team that runs the ball so well. Really, it was just the first half that looked real bad.
I honestly, when I looked up that number and saw that the Colts had given up 124 yards rushing, I was surprised by that. It didn't
feel like they ran the ball that much.
It didn't seem like that to me.
Right.
They really were stopped. They really kept Kareem Hunt under control. He didn't have any huge runs. Now that
except for the one that sealed the deal.
that long run at the end, that wasn't Kareem Hunt. I don't know his name, number 30 for the
Oh,
Browns.
Ernest.
Yes, he had that big run. That's really the only big run the Colts gave up all day to the number one rushing team in the league. So I think serviceable is what I would say the run defense was. But what killed us in that first half was just absolutely no pass rush. Baker had all damn day to throw. Now, Odell and Jarvis Landry made some hell of catches. Give them props. They're Pro Bowl wide receivers. They're going to do that.
Yeah.
But, man, in the second half, when the Colts started getting a little bit of pressure, look what happened. Baker throws 2 picks, and the Colts get right back into the game.
Yep.
And we talked about it. We got to make Baker beat us. And the Colts were doing a good job of that. They stopped the run and they put it in Baker's hands. But in that first half, you also have to get pressure on him to force him into those mistakes. And the Colts just didn't do that. Now, when they started doing it in the second half, look what happens.
We didn't make Baker beat us. We let him beat us.
Yeah, I would say that he had just so much time to throw back there, and he was able to pick us apart. And really, any quarterback, whether it's Baker Mayfield, whether it's Sam Darnold, Joe Flacco, it really doesn't matter. If you're going to give them that much time, they're going to find their open wide receivers. So that's what killed us in the first half. And then, I mean, we allowed 10 of 17 on third down as well, which isn't great either.
Right.
It seemed like the Colts hardly ever had the ball because of these long drives where the Browns would get into third down and think, okay, we have a chance to get off the field, and they'd make a play.
Yeah, it was a pretty big difference in time of possession.
Yeah, and I think that killed us. Yeah, we had interceptions by Walker and Okereke, and I think they played pretty well today, those two, especially with Darius out. But I think what killed us is just not being able to get as much pressure as we thought. Browns have a good offensive line, but with as much success as we had been having, I expected a lot more from our pass rush.
Yeah, I agree with you. And finally, in the second half, it showed up a bit, and like you said, it made a difference and kept all of a sudden the Colts. Because after that pick six, I thought the game was over, and then all of a sudden it wasn't. I was going to make a point. Oh, back to the third down stat there. You said 10 of 17. That's higher than the Browns have had all season, and that's the worst we've had all season defensively. So, yeah, it just – and a lot of that, the defense can't play like it did last week every week, and the offense has got to step up. That's not an excuse for the defense. They expect to play like that every week, but they can't.
Well, they'll be the first one to tell you that they didn't have a game up to their standards and they thought they played well. But at the same time, I mean, the Chiefs got lit up by the Raiders for 40 points today, and the Chiefs we thought had a pretty good defense. So yeah, there's going to be weeks where offense just get the best of you. That just happens. But against this Browns defense that let the Cowboys hang 40 some on them last week, I think. There's just no excuse to only be able to put up 23 points and not have the success that we expect out of our offense with our offensive line and our playmakers, and with a guy under center that's making $25 million a year. So, I mean, the defense has done enough this year to have a bad week. And I think in the second half, they definitely did enough for us to be able to come back and win if our offense was just serviceable.
How many more games like that until probably one more game before people are calling for it? But how bad's it got to get before Frank Reich pulls the plug?
Oh, it's got to get real bad. I mean, you Colts fans are quick to forget how terrible Jacoby Brissett was last year.
I'll tell you what, his arm's better.
I mean, his arm's better, but
his vision and his decision making definitely not.
I mean, and Rivers has pretty bad decision making sometimes. So, I mean, those long balls to Marcus Johnson, those aren't completed. I don't think Jacoby Brissett definitely isn't on the same level of football IQ as Phillip Rivers. So right. There's not going to be a quarterback change in Indianapolis. If you're starting to call for that, you're wasting your breath.
Yeah, probably. I think Darius and Costanzo being out, had a bigger impact than it should have, but it was a big impact nonetheless. But yeah,
I definitely think
loaded against the Browns.
I definitely think Anthony Costanzo's injury was felt more than Darius Leonard today. It seemed like LaRaven Clark got blown up on pretty much every single play. Granted, he is going up against Myles Garrett, who's probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year this year at this rate.
So far.
But at the same time, if you're Raven Clark, you're in the NFL too. You got to at least put up some sort of a battle and not let him get around you every single play. And I put this part on the coaching decisions as well. I was watching and a lot of times they let Raven Clark go one-on-one against Myles Garrett. And that's just poor game planning. You got to be real with yourself and realize Raven Clark is nowhere near the level of Myles Garrett. We talked
Find a way to
about
help him.
We're not even don't even have a job with a football team. And we talked about having a running back either chipping Myles Garrett, putting in a tight end along in the inline for Myles Garrett.
Oh yeah, by the way, poor Jack Doyle. At one point, I mean, why do we stick in Jack Doyle with sole responsibility of blocking Myles Garrett at one point? That was insane to me.
That I put that on the coaches as well. Like that
oh,
needs
that
to be
is,
a part of the game plan to not allow him to wreck the game. And a lot of times he did. Now the Browns had 5 back hits on Phillip Rivers today. Myles Garrett had 4 of them. That's got to be in the game plan to stop that. Give Raven Clark some help. And if not, I mean, that's on, and that's allowing Mike to wreck the game and be a force back there. And again, doesn't allow our offense to get into a rhythm. So I think that Sonzo was felt, definitely him missing was felt a lot than Darius missing. Cause like I said, Okereke and Walker, I think did a pretty good job considering both being this week during practice and with Darius not there. So Darius definitely would have made an impact in the passing, being able to tackle more freely and possibly blitzes on Baker. But I think that kind of just shows that the Colts' depth at tackle is a real concern, and I addressed in the
All right. We done with the Colts? I'm done with the Colts this week.
Yeah, I think just injury updates. There's on Leonard and Costanzo. Reich didn't really say anything after the game, but the hope is that both would be back next week against the Bengals. No real injuries from today. Danico Autry and Julian Black left the game but came back. So I guess on the injury front, that's a good something to be excited about, that we didn't receive any more hits as of right now. And hopefully those two are back next week, because they were dearly missed today.
Yeah, absolutely. We got to hope they're back next week. And we can't take next week lightly either. I don't want to dig into the game, but Joe Burrow is not here in the NFL to take losses. You know, he's not going to hand over games. Joe Burrow is playing to win. So we can't take next week lightly, that's for sure, especially not coming off a loss. But
nope.
All right, let's move her along here. Some talk about these games across the league. Good slate of 1:00 games. Nice, entertaining day. Obviously, Thursday night, we'll start there. Bears beat the Buccaneers 20-19, and Tom Brady doesn't know how to count downs.
That was pretty wild. I actually fell asleep during the game because I thought the Bucs had it, and at that time they did, and then big Richard Nick Foles comes out and slings it. Although Joe Buck was trashing, which was one of the funniest things I had heard on Thursday night, was Joe Buck just absolutely murdering this man for his throws.
Where was that one? It was just one comment. He goes, "That was just terrible throw. Yeah. That was a terrible throw."
Literally half a second after Nick Foles releases it, Buck goes, "What a terrible throw."
Oh my God. I don't even think the ball had hit the ground yet, and Joe Buck's throwing him under the bus.
Brady's showing his age for getting the down. He's showing your tweet. Go ahead. Well, go ahead and tell the public about your tweet.
What did I say? Oh, I called him the J.R. Smith of football.
He had his J.R. Smith moment. So
hey, and I said it before I read it anywhere. I tweeted it almost immediately.
Brady and the Bucs go down. You love to see it.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll say on that game, post game interview, none of the reporters asked Tom Brady, "Did you know it was 4th down?" Not one of them, but they did say, did Tom Brady to Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians goes from throwing Tom Brady under the bus to motivate him a little bit one week to defending him when he shouldn't. They asked Bruce Arians, did Tom know it was fourth down? He goes, yes. Yes, he did. He knew. No, hey, Bruce. No, he didn't. I mean, no, he didn't. Panthers, as I predicted, beat the Falcons. Per my sources, a.k.a. Adam Schefter on Twitter, looks like Dan Quinn's going to be out come tomorrow morning.
He's getting the Clippers. So, not good for the Falcons. I had some faith in him when they said Julio Jones wasn't playing. My faith went down a little bit more. Yep. And then as I was watching the game, I don't have any faith in the Falcons anymore.
Matt Ryan, 6.96 fantasy points or something like that.
Oof.
Tough day.
Good. Hey, good day for Todd Gurley, though.
Yeah, tough for me because my backup on one of my fantasy leagues is Matt Ryan. And if he's going to keep playing like this, I'm in trouble because Dak Prescott's out for the year. I'll get
Time
to that.
Pick up Andy Dalton.
Oh God, Red Rocket, got to win. Just got to win tonight. Ravens beat the Bengals bad. I didn't look at stats or watch any of that game, but I'm sure it was not a fun day for Joe Burrow. Like you mentioned, Raiders surprised the Chiefs 40-32, ruined every parlay in the country.
Ruined my parlay, and I was pretty upset about it. But hey, the Chiefs won't be going undefeated like you thought, Brandon.
They will not. They will not. Rams, you were spot on here. Kill Washington 30-10, but Alex Smith got back into play today, and not the world's worst stat line I've ever seen, but not the best. But he got sacked a few times, and that was scary to see. But Alex Smith got to play football today.
Just absolutely incredible that he was able to step foot on a football field again. I mean, this guy was in danger of
losing his
not only losing his leg, but the doctors kind of had some doubts if he would survive that injury.
Yep.
Period. So I mean, hats off to him. Absolutely incredible that he's back. Happy that he's back. It's what a story. Love it.
Cardinals do not embarrass themselves and cover the same score, 30-10 against the Jets. Steelers come back after a unexpected bye week. I was trying to think of a word like opposite of self-imposed. 38-29 against the Eagles.
Chase Claypool, man. He was a guy that we talked about on our show in our pre-draft preview, how we were really high on Chase Claypool and wouldn't be mad if the Colts picked him up in the second round. Dude had 4 touchdowns today. Just absolutely killing it. We saw our old buddy Eric Ebron fumble the ball, so that was good to see. But Chase Claypool, man, hats off to you. What a performance.
Why can't I think of the quarterback now for the Eagles?
Carson Wentz?
Jesus, yeah, Carson Wentz. Better day today. If the Eagles gave up on Carson Wentz, would you want Carson Wentz to be a Colt?
120%.
Okay, just make sure.
That man can ball. If they give up on him, that'd be a terrible move by Philadelphia.
Okay. Texans get their win at against the Jaguars, 30-14.
That?
Yeah, that's fine with me. What if instead of firing Bill O'Brien, the coach and the GM, what if they just, found a GM and said, "Hey, you're no longer in charge of the ins and outs."
I mean, you heard the reports this week that JJ Watt was getting in screaming matches with him, and when that happens, you lose the locker room. So
that's
even
fair.
If he's not the GM, he's lost the locker room. He wasn't going to be able to do anything as the head coach either.
Just so you know, I don't know if we mentioned this stat. He did make the playoffs 4 out of 6 seasons and won a couple playoff games, 1 or 2 playoff games.
I mean, when the AFC South was as bad as it was and Andrew Luck was injured for all of those years, not hard to do.
Fair point. Okay, Dolphins beat the 49ers, and Brandon's right again. If I had to guess, Andrew, I would be willing to say that I think I passed you this week in our picks.
Hey, there's still a couple games to go. You can just wait on that.
Didn't we pick? We picked the same teams, didn't we?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
I forget. Anyways, Jimmy G
2 interceptions in the first half.
Jimmy G benched. That's a story in San Francisco. They're in the same quarterback situation as us, I would say, maybe even worse, because they have a team that was thought to actually compete for a Super Bowl, and now looks like they're looking for a new franchise quarterback.
Hey,
So
I've got a button for the 49ers season right now.
rip to the 49ers, man. Terrible injuries, terrible quarterback play. You hate to see it.
Yep. Cowboys 37, Giants 34. Andy Dalton comes in to replace Dak Prescott after a real gruesome injury. The announcer says, "Oh, man, let's hope it's just a cramp." Sir, his foot's facing east, and he's facing north. Okay?
So
Not
who was
good.
that? Was that Tony Romo that said that?
I don't think no, because they were on Fox.
No, they were on CBS.
It might have been
Jim
Romo
Nance
then.
and Tony Romo.
Then it was Romo.
Rip. Yeah, Dak Prescott having an unbelievable season personally at the quarterback position. I mean, this kind of leads into our first injury and the injuries around the league, but it was a dislocated and fractured ankle. So he's having surgery tonight and he's done for the year. I felt for him, man. He got carted off and he's crying going off the field. Man's on a 1-year deal and was absolutely dominating and making himself
not a 1-year deal, franchise tag, and he turned down multiple contract offers, so many. And I feel bad for him. I do, especially the stuff he went through in the spring with his brother. And he's an okay guy, but I mean, buddy, pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered, and
I don't blame that on him whatsoever.
That's tough. He was asking for more money than he's asking for Patrick Mahomes' money. He's not Patrick Mahomes, okay?
I mean, but at the same time,
neither's Deshaun Watson, but
he's got the leverage because now
not
they're
anymore.
Going to rely on Andy Dalton to win.
Andy Dalton's taking him to the Super Bowl this year. I don't know if you know, but the NFC East stinks.
Okay, they got to go through more than the NFC East. But you hate to see it. I feel bad for the guy, and hopefully he comes back and is the same old Dak.
I just can't get over Tony Romo. Let's hope it's just a cramp. Portnoy tweeted about it too. He said, he goes, "Sir, I don't think it's a cramp when his foot's facing the wrong way." I mean, Jesus. It was gruesome. I don't know if you saw it, but it was tough. So yeah, move along here. Buccaneers defensive tackle Vita Vea, broken ankle, out for season. He's a good guy. He's a good player.
Yeah, that's a big cog. That's a big clog in the Buccaneers defensive line. So that's going to be a bigger loss than what people think.
We're better. Colts are better than the Buccaneers. We beat the Bears.
We have the same record as them.
Yeah, but we beat the Bears. So, maybe the Buccaneers not as good as people are starting to think. Maybe we're not as good as people are starting to think. Of course, what did I tell you? Every time the national media starts talking about the Colts and blah, 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 Chris Sims and Mike Florio the Colts might be on. So that's fun. Moving along. Sorry. Cowboys left tackle Tyron Smith officially now out for the season. Will have surgery on his neck next week.
That's pretty serious. But now, I mean, the Cowboys get hit again. Their offensive line's in shambles. Dak Prescott goes down. It's not. I don't think if you bet on the Cowboys to have any good luck this year or make it far, I think that's pretty much your fate sealed there. So,
Cardinals outside linebacker Chandler Jones, torn bicep, likely out for the season. Hate to see that. That's a phenomenal football player. Bengals defensive tackle DJ Reader, quad, out for the season.
That has implications for the Colts Bengals. And he's a big time player in the middle of their defensive line too. So
right,
sucks for him. And he was one of the guys that I was even talking about that the Colts might want to get in free agency. So that's a big loss for them.
Other news around the league, Tennessee Titans returned to their facility on Saturday after consecutive days with no positive tests, but then they had their facility closed again on Sunday as another staff member tested positive. Dumpster fire.
As of right now, the game for the Bills and the Titans is still on for Tuesday, but if they have more tests tomorrow, I think that could all change. So hopefully we're in the clear there. And
what was pushed back today? Was it Broncos Pats?
We'll get to it. There's a lot of I got all the schedule changes in here.
Oh God. Well, let's get down to them then. New England Patriots facility closed. after another player.
Autocorrect.
Yeah, we'll blame it on that. Closed after another player tested positive for COVID-19 on Saturday. So these two things leading into a lot of schedule changes. Andrew, feel free to break down this gigantic paragraph.
Yeah, there's a lot of changes, so bear with us here. But at least you're getting informed. So the Bills versus the
We like
Titans
to call
got
that
moved to Tuesday.
educated, sir.
Yeah, you get educated. And so the Broncos versus the Patriots got moved from this week 5 to week 6 next Sunday. Chiefs Bills week 6 game that was supposed to be played Thursday now moved to Monday night. Jets versus Dolphins game that was scheduled for week 10 now moved to week 6. Jets versus Chargers game scheduled for week 6 now moved to week 11. You guys keeping up here? Jaguars versus Chargers game that was scheduled for week 8 moved to week 7. Chargers versus Broncos game scheduled for week 11 moved to week 8. Chargers versus Dolphins game scheduled for week 7 now moved to week 10. And finally, the Dolphins Broncos game that was scheduled for week 6 now moved to week 11. So basically, because of the Titans and the Patriots, the whole NFL schedule is now a big cluster. It's wild, but hey, at least they're able to move everything around and keep the season going. But yeah, it's what a mess that this has created for really the entire league.
Insanity.
And it sucks for those teams that are involved in all the switches around too when they've been doing everything right so far.
Right. Saints wide receiver Michael Thomas suspended for the game Monday night by the Saints for the Monday night game against the Chargers. Sorry. You have typed in here violation of team rules. Do you know what happened? Because I do.
So there was a fight at Saints practice on Saturday, where Michael Thomas just clocked one of his teammates. And so the Saints sent him home, and he's capping to miss the game tomorrow night. So from his boneheaded actions, the Saints are still going to be down their number one wide receiver. And that's not good for Drew Brees, because Drew Brees has not played good with Michael Thomas out. So that's a big suspension. So it must have been pretty bad for them to have to suspend Michael Thomas and move forward with that. But hey,
I respect the hell out of Sean Payton for making that decision.
I do too, man. I think that he's putting his foot down and saying, hey, that's not going to be tolerated no matter who you are on the team. That's good leadership right there. So I respect it. And I think the Saints made the right move if it was really that bad.
Hey, guess what? Vikings are up 7-0.
You like that? You like that?
I'll find any excuse in the world to use that button every episode.
I don't need the Seahawks to win now since my parlay got screwed.
Yeah, who gives a shit
the Vikings can win for all I care.
Dalvin Cook scored the touchdown, though. I think FanDuel was just running a special super boost for Dalvin Cook to be the first to score or something, too, and I missed it. All right. Colts, player of the game. Hold on. I'm going to find...
Standing by.
I'm going to find a nice sound for Colts player of the game.
Simply press the button.
That one. Or, you know what? This week.
Hey, and also, don't be the guy that takes his shit in the porta potties.
This week, this segment's called the Colts player that didn't shit in the porta potty.
And then that goes to Isaiah Rodgers. You got to give the rookie props here. He had 5 kick returns on the day, 212 kick return yards, and then his 101-yard kick return for a touchdown today. So that 4.28 speed was clearly on display. He made some really good runs and really good decisions to help give the Colts some good field position today, and scored 6 points of his own. So great day for the rookie. Like we said earlier, rookies had a good day, but it's probably one of the only highlights for the Colts today. So it's just 1 week. They have the Bengals coming up, and they need to make sure they dominate them like they dominated other teams that they've been clearly better than in the past. So
the Jets. That's it.
We dominated the Vikings.
Yeah, you're right.
And pretty much dominated the Bears until the garbage time touchdown. So overall, I mean, it's not the end of the world. The Browns do have a really good team. We need to remember that. But at the same time, there's still a lot that the Colts need to clean up, especially on the offensive end. And we need to start seeing results from that very soon. So, but hey, I think that's all for me. I've pretty much spewed all of my Colts feelings on the episode. So
hey, tell your friends about us. You know, our numbers are going up a bit here with the season going. I recruited a new fan, some old dude at work. Gave him the episode title.
Hey, there you
or
go.
the show title. I was like, hey, buddy. I even downloaded Google Podcasts for him because he didn't know how I asked him first. I was like, do you listen to podcasts? And he goes, yeah, all the time. And then he goes, now how do I find you? And I was like, you don't listen to podcasts, but you listen to the radio. But then maybe new listener from Twitter.
Yeah, we did.
If you guys are listening, welcome. Welcome to the show. Tell your friends.
Some of my buddies from work have been listening too. My one buddy, Ben, is a Bears fan, so he didn't like the game last week. And then my buddy Brad is a Browns fan, so he said he was looking forward to listening to this episode. So Brad, here's your episode, buddy. But I hope the Browns lose every game for the rest of the year.
I planned on shit talking my fiance's dad because he's a big Cowboys fan. So if we would have beat the Browns because they lost to him last week, and then if they would have lost to the Giants today too, boy, I'd have had a heyday, but no such luck. Go follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. All the places. At the Eh-Ducated Fan, that's at THEHEDUCATEDFAN. You know the rules. I'm not spelling it again. Sorry for my somber, shitty attitude, but I hate the Colts' loss.
Hey, Chase Elliott won.
Don't care.
So America won. We appreciate all you listeners.
Hey, call me Mike Tomlin. I do not care.
Go Colts.
Go Colts.